Welcome to the carousel. I don't got anything else to say. Okay, let's do take two.
Wow.
Welcome to the carousel, where we discuss video games, movies, sometimes comic books, and whatever awful things those conversations lead to. I am John. With me, I have Randy.
Hello. That was great.
And I have Jake.
I got nothing this week either. It hasn't been long enough since we did a cast. Nothing in the world has happened that I can make a joke about. We did just learn that the domain designation of PK comes from Pakistan.
Not North Korea.
Not North Korea. I was thinking like People's Korea or something.
It's the DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And when the word democratic is in the country's name, you know that is true.
Yes.
When I hear DP, Democratic People, is exactly the first thing I think of, and nothing else perverse or...
Yeah, you couldn't put it in the name. Democratic, I think Congo did that too for a while. They're the Democratic...
I mean, you can't fit two things into that abbreviation.
Nope. So that's a lesson for you youngins out there.
I'm just shaking my head. All right, so just real quick, want to plug the Discord app like usual. We're getting some folks in there. We're having some fun conversations, so come join us. As far as actual content, first thing I'm going to start with here is something
Was that plug as much for me as anybody? Because I think I've still failed.
Are you still not in that fucking Discord?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's pretty great. Look, someone, I say someone, my friend John posted like a great meme in there the other day. It was like Obi-Wan on top of the lava planet looking down on Anakin. He says, Anakin, you can't win. I have purchased the high ground.
I've purchased the high ground, yeah. That was pretty good.
That's
yeah, they've been getting a lot of heat about that. There you go. We could talk about all the heat they've been getting for that, unless...
I mean, I don't know that I necessarily have anything to add to the conversation that hasn't already been said.
I was going to say that's been pretty well tread over the last week or so.
Kind of a dog pile at this moment. I mean,
it is. Reddit went nuts on them to the point where it's like, all right, take it easy.
Most downvoted post ever in Reddit was from the I don't know if it was a DICE or an EA guy, but one of them posted on Reddit like trying to explain some shit, and it's like over 700,000 downvotes. Like, it's crazy.
It was real passive aggressive, and like, you know, like at least you have to admire in some sense when someone makes an attempt to cover up this like nakedly financial decision they made and fucked up on. Like, there's some artistry involved, but yeah, that should totally be downvoted. And it was so destroyed that it actually kind of wrecked the rest of Reddit, where people were posting their own, I don't even know what you call them, threads, about how bad Reddit hates EA right now. Like, there were 3 or 4 other meme threads on the front page just about this debacle.
Wasn't it effective enough? Like, didn't EA cave?
They're doing something. We'll see how much they caved. Right now, they've taken...
Someone had told me that EA caved.
Well, they took all the microtransactions out, but they said, we've temporarily taken everything out, and we're redoing it, kind of thing.
Now you're not going to get anything, bitches.
But like,
no Luke, no nothing.
But like, I don't know. I can't remember if it was Sterling or Colin Moriarty or someone else, but one of the many YouTube shows I watched that were bitching about this were saying that Disney actually came out and told them to do that, like to remove it, because they were getting so much bad PR from it. So it wasn't even EA's decision at that point, if that's true, right? Like, they just said, okay.
Notorious benefactors that are Disney came out and told you that maybe you were going a little too hard on the pay-to-play.
But wasn't it like a day or two after launch or something that actually happened? So like all the people who were gonna dump a ton of money into these loot crates
already did it, and so already have these advantages in the game, and now they just yanked it so nobody else can even like try. Ouch.
Which I guess, you know, that's better than the alternative, which is everyone having this, you know, arms war.
Well, and what do you think about like the whales right now who probably immediately were like, here's $1,000, EA, like, give me all your shit. Like, and you got to figure the whales is probably like I know the idealistic version is, they're all rich people who can afford it, but realistically, a couple of those people are just poor people racking up fucking credit card debt, right?
A couple of those people are rich people's kids.
That's true, too.
Like, the rich people ain't spending time playing Battlegrounds.
You don't know that?
They have other shit to do.
Or Battlefield, sorry. It's Battlefield,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
It's Battlegrounds.
Nope. It's
What's
Battlefront.
Battlefront, whatever.
Although I just did.
This
I
will
said
segue
Arms
nicely
War.
into our generic title next week or whatever we're doing it.
Yeah, I said Arms War a minute ago instead of Arms Race, so it's kind of the pot calling the kettle black here.
The Battlefront. Yeah, I don't know. I got the one 2 years ago. That was a waste of money. I paid $60 for it and I played it for like a month. It wasn't that good.
I wouldn't call that a waste of money if you get a month's worth of game out of it.
Yeah, well, it's not like I only played that for a month. You know?
I don't like. I feel like I listen to several podcasts where some people play that game like almost weekly. So
I get it. It's not very fun. The only part I liked was dogfighting. It certainly wasn't good enough for me to go out and drop $60 on the new one.
Or 90 or 100 or whatever the hell they were
Yeah,
trying to sell this
exactly.
thing for.
Et cetera, et cetera.
well, they're trying to sell it for all of the money that you have. Is the impression
Yeah.
I got.
Yeah, what you
So-
got? What you got? What you got? They're digging through your pockets. They've opened up their coat and there's like a Vader and you know what I'm saying? Some lightsabers. Got a Rey.
Yeah, the Vader looks like Vader, but like the Rey doesn't quite look enough like Rey to where like maybe they didn't pay everyone licensing fees. Like some of those character models
I'm
are
sure
almost
it's in their contract.
unrecognizable.
I'm sure it's in her contract.
Yeah, you
we
would
can
think.
use your likeness in all Star Wars shit.
Yeah, maybe they're just really awful at making that stuff.
Well, I mean, also you got to think it's way easier to model Vader, right, than any human face.
It's true.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I bet Mark Hamill has it the worst of all. Like, you go from normal face in the first two movies to plastic
Go
face
weird.
after the car accident. Poor guy.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, he got in like some bad car accident and had plastic surgery. If he looks a little off in the third movie, but I don't know. He looks pretty badass in the new one. So
I was gonna say I haven't noticed anything in the trailer. I guess this happened after he filmed this one.
yeah, it was between Empire and Returns. I don't know. I've never seen any pictures. This is all word of mouth bullshit. For all I know, it could all
Way
be
back
made
in the
up
day?
and huh?
Oh, you're talking about way back. I thought you were talking about recently.
No.
You're talking OT.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, that's not why he grew the beard, dude.
OT, the only trilogy. Right.
I don't know. I liked the new ones are pretty good.
They're fine. I saw Justice League today. Then we'll get to it later. I
Right.
saw it in IMAX, and they played the trailer for Force Awakens. Was the last one? Was it The Last Jedi? Is that what this
Yeah.
one is?
TOJ.
I kind of don't think I care.
Hmm.
I don't know.
It's directed and I think partially written by Rian Johnson. Or maybe he didn't write. I can't remember. But anyway, you know, the Planet of the Apes guy. That's been
Do they
doing all
have,
those movies that are critically acclaimed at the moment.
What's his name? Do they have Kasdan back? Because he was in. That's his name, right? The guy the screenwriter for Empire that everyone likes.
I think maybe I'd heard something about that, but I haven't been following it closely enough. Just seeing the trailer, like even with this, you know, the IMAX booming audio and like.
Yeah. Lawrence Kasdan. He was involved in Force Awakens. So as long as he's still involved,
Which again was
he wrote
fine,
the Force Awakens.
but like I think I can maybe name 2 story beats from that movie, and it came out like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Well, if you can name the story beats from New Hope, then you've basically got it.
New Hope's easy. It's Farmer to Obi-Wan to Bye Mom and... Oh, wait, they're dead. We're leaving the planet. To
Well,
Vader's in there. I
we're,
know it.
We're
Wait, no, he's
steamrolling-
still locked.
We're steamrolling his Justice League stuff.
No, we'll get to that later. I was just saying that like, so the trailers were all IMAX trailers, and so they got that huge screen and big giant audio, and like, I was getting more feels from that trailer that I actually really like for Ready Player One with the the rush,
Oh.
the car doors closing with the Tom Sawyer da-dong, ga-dong. Like that gave me more feels like, oh man, I might go see this than Star Wars. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that Ready Player One trailer did not do anything for me. Like, but granted, I'd read the book, and then hearing Steven Spielberg's comments about what he wanted to do with the movie, like, put me in immediate despair on like it having any faithfulness to the book. And granted, the book is entirely like nostalgia based. Like, it is.
What was the last good thing Spielberg was involved with?
I'm going to say Jurassic Park.
No, he did Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
it's
right.
got to be in the 90s, right? Like, everything, like, post-2000, he hasn't been that great. I mean, like, that's probably
You don't
the
think
divider
that-
year.
You don't think that car chase with like the hundreds of cars going through a wrecked city and all the freeways like having ramps in them and shit, you don't think that looked cool?
Yeah, it didn't.
No?
It just looked like another CG. Look, the last Fast and the Furious movie I saw, some hacker hacked all the cars in this building or city or something, and you had like hundreds of robot cars going everywhere and throwing themselves at the Fast crew. So it's kind of just like, yeah, but that's that same thing, but now it's gray.
Ouch. So
I didn't see any of this, but that just the it just looked real good. I don't think I'm gonna like the movie. I don't like the concept, but the
real quick, I
trailer
want to
is
run down
effective.
this list for you guys. So after Saving Private Ryan, it goes AI, Artificial Intelligence, Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, which is actually pretty cool, Terminal, War of the Worlds, Indiana Jones 4, Adventures of Tintin, War Horse, Lincoln, which I guess was critically acclaimed. I didn't see it. Bridge of Spies, BFG. The 2000s were not great for him.
I did like War of the Worlds. I will give it that. I have not seen it more than once or
It's all
twice, but I think it took a lot more shit than it deserved.
Liked
I don't
the
know
Terminal.
that that's true.
I
The Terminal is in Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom Hanks and Catherine Zeta.
Okay.
It's not his typical sort of big budget special effects stuff, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know that I never need to see another Steven Spielberg movie now that you list all those off.
I watched that documentary
yeah,
on him
well-
on HBO. It was all right.
Before you get too upset, there's an upcoming untitled Indiana Jones project for 2020.
Yay.
Yeah, I think I was hearing about that somewhere. And like, at what point does Harrison Ford get to retire? Like, let this man
Let
retire.
the man be.
He clearly doesn't want to be acting in movies anymore.
He's got to be 70-something.
I disagree. I thought he did. Granted, I've read some reviews that disagree with me. I thought his performance in Blade Runner 2049 was phenomenal. Like, he went from not being able to act at all to having entire moments of the movie just on his face with him, like, slowly reacting or actually, like, dealing out some sort of emotion, which I didn't think he was capable of after the last Star Wars movie he was in.
Harrison Ford was good, but I don't know that he was ever as talented as he was handsome.
That's probably
That goes a long
true.
way.
Yeah. He is 75.
Yeah. As in, too fucking old to be working. Like,
77.
break, dude, you
You're going
earned
to put
it.
this guy in an Indiana Jones movie?
as Indiana Jones. Like, he's older now than Sean Connery was when he played his dad. Right?
He'll have to be in some sort of like mentoring capacity, right? Like he's got a young graduate student or something.
Yeah, it's Batman Beyond,
Exactly. Yes.
and he's in the indie cave.
That actually
indie
could have some
computer.
legs.
As long as it's
It would
not
be set later, like maybe in the 70s.
as long as it's not Shia LaBeouf anymore.
Oh, he had to go back to his home planet. It's fine.
Well, how long
So-
ago? Those were in the 80s, right? So 30 years. They were set in the 30s, so it'd be in the 60s. You could do some cool shit in like the Vietnam War.
So
That could be fun.
Girl Centric in chat, one, she says she saw the Ready One Player trailer and decided she really needed to read the book. I really enjoy the book. Like, it's lots of references, and it's a pretty cheery story, but I think it's a fun, quick read. And then she also says that Harrison Ford was fantastic in What About Henry, which I do not
I've
think
not heard
I've
of
seen
that.
since elementary school, and I certainly was not old enough to appreciate it in elementary school. It's I can't remember what it's about, to be honest with
Does
you.
Harrison Ford have an Oscar?
That cannot be true.
I doubt it. There's no way.
I'm looking. I don't think he does. Tommy Lee Jones got an Oscar for The Fugitive, but I don't think Harrison Ford
Okay,
did.
so I'm going to get off of Wikipedia cast here.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
Sorry.
we're not just listening to you follow a rabbit
So,
hole down
yeah,
Wikipedia.
Tell me about Justice League.
No. I'm going to tell you about Old Man Logan because I have finally gotten around to reading the graphic novel.
Sorry, you were talking about going to see it. My bad.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought you already saw this and said you didn't. Oh no, you said you got the graphic novel.
Yes.
Is that what you? Oh my God. Okay.
Yes. This is a goddamn comic, guys.
Wow.
Because I saw Logan and I remember thinking like, if this was a comic, this was really boring because this is nothing happens. This is not entertaining. Excuse me. So it went on sale, I want to say last week before on Kindle, which I have an app on my iPad that I use to read it. So it's like you don't have to have a Kindle to read it. But it was like, I don't know, $1.25 or something like that. And I thought, for $1.25, I want to see what this really was because, John, you've told me before that it's really, really weird, and that like all the heroes are dead, and it's like dark, and it's this cool buddy cop movie isn't the word I'm looking for, like a road trip kind of thing, and all that's kind of true. I just got to the sort of the twist in what I think is probably the end of the second act, where he's telling Hawkeye why he decided to become a pacifist. And man, that's really crazy. But it's for anyone who hasn't read it, it's ostensibly Logan was based on this because it's Wolverine when he's older, but it has almost nothing in common with the movie. Logan is working on a farm like in like California, I want to say, and there's like these droughts and it's sort of an end of the world thing, and like there are 4 groups of supervillains that have sort of split up the United States into their own territories, and he's this pacifist, but they need money, and Hawkeye comes by. He's blind now, and tells him,
ironic.
yeah, Hawk no eyes, and tells him, look, I need somebody to drive me to New York because there's a MacGuffin that I don't know what it is yet because I'm only halfway through. So I need someone to drive me to New York. You're that guy because I trust you when almost every other superhero is dead. Because there was this big cataclysm thing, which... Okay, so all the supervillains basically realized that they didn't have to come at the X-Men one at a time type of things. Like,
if we team up, we could actually do something.
Yeah, like the Sinister Six did with Spider-Man back in the 80s and I guess forgot about. And they're just like handed the superheroes their asses because they're like, oh yeah, if it takes a team of you guys to fight just me, maybe me and every other supervillain in the world all attacking at once might, have a good shot, and they do. So it's basically just sort of it's your basic comic what if sort of alternative storyline thing. The Hulks are all like inbred because I guess Hulk. Were you telling me, John, that he raped She-Hulk or something?
Yeah.
So yeah, like they're inbred kids are running around like
honestly that book really, that's the part of the book that has scarred my brain, and that's all I can think of when I think of that book is that Bruce Banner raped his cousin and produced offspring.
More than one. Yeah. But there's a whole bunch of little nods, and like they have the Spider-Mobile, and that's how they're getting cross country, and like I guess Spider-Man married some like Hawkeye is Spider-Man's or father-in-law or something now, or he's Spider-Man's kid's grandpa or something. Is that how that worked?
I remember next to nothing about this. I remember Hawkeye being blind. I actually thought Hawkeye was driving for some reason, even though he was blind. But I guess I must be thinking of something else. But I mean, it's written by Mark Miller, so everything in it is fucking absurd. But
I mean, Venom just took over a dinosaur from the Savage Lands. What I was reading today, like what the what? I'm gonna finish that up. I think I'm probably about 2/3 of the way through it or so. So I'll probably be able to take care of it in the city.
But I'm pretty sure the big reveal about why Wolverine went pacifist is towards the end. So
Yeah, it seems like there's like the map progress of the United States as they're going across in each issue, and they're past Chicago, so they're almost in New York or Washington D.C. or whatever they were supposed to be going. That Doctor Doom runs now, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Speaking of Hulks, Randy, you wanted to tag up on Thor. We'll get some Ragnarok going.
Oh, yeah, we saw it over the weekend. It was fun. I've heard a lot of people saying it's the best of the Marvel movies, and I don't know that I agree with that. I think it's still probably Avengers 1. It's pretty good. Jeff Goldblum was amazing. I did like him. I thought he was delightfully weird. That's basically all I had, is that it was great. It wasn't as good as I think everybody wants it to be, but it was solid. It's the best Thor movie.
yeah, I came out of it thinking like, yeah, that's good. It's maybe like a strong 3.5 stars, and then I read a couple articles about like some of the kind of metaphor work they did in that, and I gotta see it again to see if this article's full of shit.
Work. Like what? People can
Like
try to inject metaphors into a lot of shit.
yeah,
Doesn't
like
mean it's
the hard
there.
part is trying to explain it without spoiling a bunch of it. But like
Yeah, we're
for
like
instance,
3
a
weeks
large section of the movie is about inheritance. It is about like Hela's whole deal is, hey, the past was not one how you think it is. This is how I think it should be. This is I remember this being a violent revolution, not this peaceful treaty thing.
Yeah.
So you have that aspect, and then you have Loki, who's kind of the indifferent. I got mine. I don't really care about the rest of you type. You have the
So there, yeah.
and then you have Thor, who's trying to sort out like how he feels about benefiting from his heritage, kind of thing. Like there's a
Right. Benefiting from colonialism.
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
to whitewash that.
exactly, and then
Yeah. And then they talk about how what is it? Asgard is a people, an idea. It's not a place.
well, we can't. Don't spoil. I feel like we're starting to get to the one that I think really was hitting you over the head like thing about the near the end, but I
Yeah,
need to see it again because I suspect this guy's probably projecting to somewhat of an extent, but at the same time, I could see Taika Waititi.
The colonialist bent, that at least makes sense.
Yeah,
That's there's a good case to be made there.
yeah.
Dude, it's worth seeing just for Goldblum. I'll put that out there. I'm serious. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Is that the first Marvel movie he showed up in?
Yeah.
Goldblum? Yeah.
Well,
It is? Okay.
unless
Or
you
what's
count
his
him
character's
dancing in the credits of Guardians 2,
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
is very. I mean, unless you sat through the credits watching everyone dance, like he's one of the last people just randomly there. But
Okay. Yeah. I thought he was great.
Well, that's going to be out on Netflix pretty soon, so I'm finally going to be able to watch it.
So that's my hot take on Thor Ragnarok.
All right. Like I said earlier, that Randy kept trying to push me into, I saw Justice League today.
You led with that. You were like, so I went to see Justice League.
Well, it was in relation to Star Wars and the trailers thereof.
sounds like a pretty exclusive
It's-
league if it's just
Yeah.
us.
Get out of
That's-
here.
Nope.
Get
Nope.
out of here.
Man, it's
Is it depressing and blah like all the other ones?
well, no. They tried to be a little lighter.
Wonder Woman's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen Wonder Woman. I was gonna rent it this
I saw
weekend,
some,
and just couldn't justify it.
The trailer makes it seem like they're cracking jokes, but maybe it's a little labored.
It is real labored. So the joke in all the trailers is Bruce Wayne talking to Barry Allen as like the hood of the Batmobile or the roof of the Batmobile is coming down, and he says something about what's your superpower, and Bruce goes, "I'm rich."
Rich, yeah.
And like that was the level. Like they tried to make a lot of meta jokes, and the writing just wasn't there, and the delivery wasn't there, and it was the worst with the Flash. Like instead of so like Barry Allen in most of the comics, cartoon stuff that I've seen him in, he is your typical speedster, cracking jokes, kind of a la Spider-Man, but not quite as punny. He's super cocky, and he's the Flash. You know what the Flash is. And here they made him the comic relief, and they just turned him into this nerdy kid who's socially awkward. Like they looked at CBS and was like, Big Bang Theory is working really well, guys. So like, we don't want a Sheldon, but let's like take Sheldon, turn him down to like a 2 out of 10, maybe just kind of feed some of those lines to this Barry Allen kid.
Nobody wants a Sheldon.
It's and there was a lot of potential. There was just a lot of wasted potential with this movie. Do you guys know from the trailers who the bad guy is?
I think I know from the last movie who the bad guy was.
No, I have no idea.
Steppenwolf, the 80s rock group.
Mm-hmm. The entire band's here. Get your motor running, guys.
I was really hoping that was a rock group and not just a guitar player, is how little I know about Steppenwolf.
I don't know anything about Steppenwolf.
I guess he's from Wonder Woman and all them. I still don't really know who he is.
Steppenwolf is one of Darkseid's generals.
Oh, yes. You know what? I did know that because he mentioned Darkseid. Like we would all know who Darkseid was. Like even Batman and them are like...
Y'all know Darkseid, right?
I hear that movie's got a lot of mother boxes going on. Like after them talking about the Marthas, they want to get that mother box.
Even the movies have loot crates now.
There's a card swipe on the back of every seat, and you just...
Those are from the comics, though. I mean, mother boxes, those are nothing new.
They are, but they're also literally the loot boxes that they used in Injustice 2. You open mother boxes.
Oh, great.
So speaking of the back of your seat, I hate the goddamn movie theater. And like I said, I went to IMAX today because I thought, well, it's a matinee. I got the day off.
No, that's when the kids go.
Well, I thought, okay, it's going to be, relatively quiet. The place isn't going to be packed. And on the one side of me, you got the teenagers, forgetting I'm going old man here, talking through the whole goddamn movie.
The damn teens.
I assumed to be a kid because I knew if I stood up, I was going to throw a punch. So I didn't stand up and turn around, actively kicking my goddamn chair for 45 minutes across that movie. So I was doing that passive-aggressive, like, lean back the seat real hard, like when you feel doing, like, this fucking sucks. I fucking hate the movie theater.
No, you got to turn around and dump your popcorn on them.
Do you think I could afford popcorn?
Well,
it's like $7.85.
Yeah, in Chicago, it's probably like $1,000 for popcorn.
Well, there's the popcorn tax. It's a 1 cent per kernel.
Yep.
Anyway, the movie itself, the villain was awful. Like, I feel like they could have done almost anyone and
Haven't all the villains in these DC movies been kind of crap?
I liked Luther, but nobody else did, and I can sympathize with that. Reaction.
Doomsday was kind of bogus, right?
Any goodwill I had towards Luther was destroyed in that jail scene. So
I don't remember. Was he? He was being like
Joker was a joke.
When he was screaming at Batman as he ran away and being like crazy subservient Luther. It was just, I don't know, stupid. I didn't like it.
He's not so far gone that I don't think they could turn it around. But yeah, that was not great. So it was real weird. They sort of there was a cool concept on. They at least I think they did. I don't know who this fucking guy was in the comics, but they did a good job in the movie explaining why Steppenwolf is a big bad, and sort of their gimmick is, it's sort of a Lord of the Rings, beginning of Lord of the Rings, Clash of the Five Armies or whatever thing, where it's like thousands of years ago, Steppenwolf showed up and was using these mother boxes. There's 3 of them, and you mash them together, and it basically turns whatever world into apocalypse. Is that where Darkseid lives?
It's the Infinity Stones.
I don't know. I don't know. It's the Infinity Stones. It seems almost like a smaller version of the World Engine.
But
you don't smash the Infinity Stones together.
I don't know a ton about DC lore, especially like New Gods stuff, but I got the impression that there are more than 3 mother boxes in the comics, and they don't do that. I thought they were teleport machines, but or boom tubes, as I guess they call them in the comics. But the thing Darkseid's supposed to be after, that's on Earth, is the anti-life equation.
They didn't touch any of that shit.
Which the anti-life, and I didn't know this until I read an article on Polygon, which I felt educated about. But the anti-life equation doesn't actually kill people; it just takes away their free will and enslaves them. So, evidently, the thing about Darkseid is he makes slaves out of people by
Well, yeah.
Don't be political, John. Don't be political.
He maps them into
That makes sense.
subservience.
Dead people aren't useful.
He
Slaves are much more useful than dead people.
Right. He basically convinces them to worship him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where he confuses them as to what reality is by feeding them lies, and then, Granny Goodness, one of his people, I guess her main point is to kind of convert all these people to kind of his super fascism way. 'Cause keep in mind, all these guys were made up by Jack Kirby, who was a Jew during World War II. He wasn't actually over there, but he did fight in it. And I believe he was a scout for some army in World War II, but he lost, his home to that shit. So he had some strong
Jack
opinions on, yeah.
Cool.
He had some
No,
very
not
strong
cool.
opinions on fascists. So
Well, cool that he was a veteran.
yeah.
Not cool that bad stuff happened to him, but
Yeah.
So before today, I didn't know who Steppenwolf was, and his deal is he has this magic axe that he cuts people with, and then they turn into I think they call them parademons. They're basically weird bug things that are somehow maybe vampires or cannibals. I don't really know.
See, those are supposed to just be converted guys in suits that are working for Darkseid.
So what they are, the way they explain it in the movie, is when they had to fight this guy the first time, Atlantis was still above water. So it was the Amazons, the Atlanteans, and men all fought this dude, and were finally able to beat him back. And this was the first world he wasn't able to conquer. And so that's the deal where it's Bruce Wayne gets them all on board that we got to fight this dude and whatever. And that piece was cool. I liked all the stuff on Themyscira. Since I didn't see Wonder Woman, I'm guessing some of the people who got their asses beat real bad and or killed would have had more of an impact on me. But I don't know. I mean, I fully still intend to watch that. The CGI is really bad.
Really?
I mean, not all terrible. Well, so this battle that I'm talking about, they mentioned that in addition to those people, they were friends from other worlds, and they had a goddamn Green Lantern fighting everybody. And I'm like, where's your fucking Green Lantern? It's so they did. I mean, you look at all the posters. The vast majority of this movie has no Superman, no Green Lanterns of any type. Even most of the Justice League is not on screen most of the time. This is the Batman Wonder Woman show, which in and of itself isn't bad, because Ben Affleck is I think it's going to come out in the end that he's a good Bruce Wayne and a bad Batman, because he's not a good Batman.
How much of that is him, and how much of that is direction and production?
Well, oh no, he's directing Batman. The fight choreography certainly doesn't help him out too much.
He's
he
not
literally
directing Batman anymore.
Oh right, all right.
I heard he wants out of that whole thing.
That's the big rumor right now. I wouldn't
I
blame
don't
him.
blame
He's
him.
got nothing but negative press from it,
Well,
I don't
and
know.
in this
Cash
one,
them checks, man.
he literally picked up a laser gun and started shooting motherfuckers with it until it ran dry. That was his superpower. His superpowers in this movie were money, like they make a joke about,
Was Gatling lasers?
and that he picks up a fucking fusion rifle and is just mowing dudes down with it. Oof.
That seems pretty
Woof.
lame.
There are plenty of versions of Batman where his whole "I'm not gonna kill people" thing is kind of taking a back seat.
Like this one, because he actually literally mows a whole pile of motherfuckers down with Gatling guns on the Batmobile.
Are they the zombified dudes?
That's how they justify it. But yeah, these were people, and you were straight up shooting them to death.
See, I prefer Detective Batman, which we've seen very little of in the movies. You know, I think Nolan came closest to that, but you know, like
Yeah, there
supreme
was some of
physical badass Batman, like I mean that doesn't take you anywhere once you start introducing superpowers into it. So, I mean, they really need to. I guess the problem with writing a intelligent detective plot line is your writer has to be smart enough to be capable of doing that, which I think the CW shows have shown us time and time again that most writers are not.
I mean, the closest correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the closest they've ever gotten with Batman is the fucking Riddler in Batman Forever, where he's like, I need to read this riddle, like, what's got numbers on its face.
And there's some stuff in Dark Knight where he's drilling out the thing to put the bullet back together or whatever. I mean, it's bullshit, but he's doing detective work at least.
yeah, I
He
forgot
gets
about
the
that.
thumbprint off the shattered bullet.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
jeez,
pretty
I
cool.
forgot about that.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But hey, that's Detective Batman, right?
Yeah, it's just there's not a lot of detecting going on. I will say this:
I mean, that's about
Aquaman is pretty cool. They made him sort of dude bro bikery kind of, but like
Yeah. It's the guy. It's Khal Drogo, right?
But say I
The
never
new
would
guy?
have thought they would have done that to him with fucking Jason Momoa playing him. That's
and
sarcasm.
he's still way fucking ripped, dude. Dude is fucking ripped.
He's pretty buff.
Well, did you see
But
that
he's
behind the
actually a good
scenes thing of like him and the? I can't remember what he said. He says something to the camera. He chugs a beer and then he takes an axe, throws it at a fucking board and hits the center of it. Like he is like machoism personified.
Yeah, but he seems like I've seen some interviews and stuff with him. He seems like a pretty down to earth dude. But like he's an actual good actor when speaking English, which I didn't know. I've never heard him speak English.
What's his native language?
Whatever the
He's
fucking horse
talking-
people
Game of Thrones, where
Esteros say, like whatever they speak. But he's good. Gal Gadot is good. So like they do a cut at the beginning where they show like here's what Batman's doing, here's what Wonder Woman's doing, here's what all these people are doing, and Wonder Woman is in London, I guess for some reason. I'm guessing they probably explained that at the end of her movie. And there's like this bank heist kind of thing that she foils, which is really cool. But aside from that, there's not like a whole lot that the characters do interestingly. I mean, even Flash, they do some stuff with him that's cool, but it's been done before.
So I've heard you talk about every character but the Teen Titan. Is Cyborg actually in this movie?
Yes. He's actually, out of the actual characters themselves, he's probably my favorite in the movie. The actor is really good. They gave him some good lines. They gave him a good motivation. There's a thing or two here and there that they don't explain. Like he goes to shoot one of the Justice League members because he can't control his robot body, and like he's getting powers overnight and stuff like that, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, I don't know what that was about. His dad, if I'm correct, is named Miles, works for Star Labs, and is played by the same actor who played Miles Dyson in Terminator 2 and works for Skynet Labs.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
So like that was kind of funny.
I don't understand how that guy didn't get more work. I thought he did a good acting job in Terminator 2, and I have not. I don't think I've seen him since.
Yeah, he was really good.
It's too bad that he got put in pretty much the exact same role again, huh?
Yeah. Like where he's making cyborgs. It was good. You know, the plot is hokey. The villain is terrible. It's everything you've come to expect from DC. Yeah, it's just another missed opportunity, and there's some stuff that I can't really talk about. We can talk about it after the cast if you want. There's some stuff that really does work. That was a lot more lighthearted, and not jovial, but like it feels like this is maybe they're finally getting over the Nolanverse and where everything's got to be super fucking gritty and dark, but they're not there yet. And I don't know where they go from here, but I want Green Lantern back fucking toot sweet.
So Miles Dyson is played by Joe Morton, who was also Henry Deacon from Eureka. So I have seen him in a whole bunch of things because he's in that show a lot and was my favorite character. So
Well, there you go.
What do I know?
So favorite, you totally forgot.
But he
Yeah.
just plays another scientist there, so I don't know what to tell you. But
So that's all I got in the Justice League. It's a bummer.
okay, so I started watching on Friday night. I turned on The Punisher, thinking I'll just watch a few episodes, and then watched half of the show then, and then the rest of the show on Saturday. I realized the reviews are kind of mixed online. I really like the show a lot. Jake, I guess you saw some or part of it. Where are you at with it?
I probably finished it before you did.
Well, okay.
There's a lot of good pieces to that show. I don't know that I ever need to watch another Marvel Netflix show again.
See, what I liked about this show the most was it did not feel like a Marvel Netflix show. Like, the only parts that felt like it were when they found a way to, oh, here's the arms dealer from Daredevil showing up or something, you know, like, and then, oh, here's the chick from Daredevil, like, and even her, like, after a couple episodes with her, I stopped thinking of Daredevil when she was around.
Oh, Karen is great.
Yeah.
Karen is almost the best piece of this series, I think.
I disagree on that, but for me, like, I was pleasantly surprised when it started up, and I'm waiting on some veteran friends to get back with me. But like, the show is entirely about how veterans adapt to civilian life afterwards. Like, almost like half the cast plays a veteran, and they all deal with it in completely different ways. And it's I would actually venture to say that because the show really, like, ratcheted up the tension for me. And then, to me, the climax of the show was around episode 10.
Yeah,
and-
they had one episode too many. They wrote too many.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about, like, when they deal with the main, like, to me, the main plot line was that fucking psycho kid, is what I'm saying. Like, I think episode 10 was the one where his plot resolved, we'll say.
Well, how many were there? 12?
I think there were like 12 or 13. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like 8 or 9. The last episode, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was one too many. I felt kind of stupid, though, because okay, I won't get into it, but let's just say that one of the characters is a classic Punisher villain, and if I had known that villain's real name, like, it would have been obvious. Like, everything that they were leading this character to would have been, like, hit you over the head, obvious where they were going with it. Like, but not knowing that, I think a lot of it works. So I think a lot of, like, Punisher comic fans are going to see it and be like, yeah, no, I get it. They're going to be this character. Stop with saying that kind of thing. But
Clancy Brown was in this, by the way. Did you catch the Clancy Brown sighting?
well, I mean, he was the guy that already died in Daredevil, right?
Was he? Was he in Daredevil? Who was he in Daredevil?
He was you're talking about the old Army general guy who voices Lex Luthor sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was the original villain for the Punisher in Daredevil.
What?
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
Like, that Daredevil storyline just, okay. After
I remember Kingpin, and I remember the hand. That's all I remember.
After Daredevil gets out of prison, like, after he goes through his trial, the Army general they bring in, or sergeant, or whatever he was Clancy Brown. And he testifies that he thinks Frank's a good man, and then you find out that, you know, that guy's really an evil bad guy, and Frank goes and kills him all.
When you say when Daredevil gets out of jail, you mean when the show gets Punisher out of jail?
Yeah.
He's testifying on behalf of Frank Castle. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But he's really
I forgot he did that.
Frank's enemy thing, and he dies in Daredevil. So,
Well, they do a little flashback, and he shows up, and it's very neat.
yeah. So that's why that was there. But I kind of agree with the critiques in that the Ultimate Villain was a little bit like he was evil personified to a degree, but at the same time, he was very clearly a sociopath in power. But
It was a little over the top, you could say, yeah.
For me though, like that was a super stressful series. Like, and it was fucking brutal and bloody as hell. Like there's a lot of characters I'm like, man, this motherfucker better get it good. And then when they start getting it good, I'm like, maybe I didn't mean that. Maybe I just wanted you to
Ooh, not that good. Not that.
have him get an embarrassing death or something. Not like, is this really necessary?
Like shooting their toes off one at a time. Like,
Basically, you know. But
hey, when did he get that vest? When does he get the skull vest? Because I was playing a game that I may or may not talk about tonight, but I had it on the other window, so sort of glancing back and forth. When did he get the skull vest?
he had it at the beginning of the series and then didn't put it on again until near the end. I think they realized how goofy a skull vest looks on him, so they tried to use it sparingly.
In the comics, he makes it himself, right?
Yes, and the Thomas Jane, who is still, I love John Bernthal. Tom Jane's still my favorite Punisher. In that movie, his kid like bought it at a like.
It was like an Ed Hardy
something.
shirt or whatever with a skull on it.
Well, we're
Yeah.
not talking about bad movies. We're talking about a good Netflix TV series.
You didn't like that? You didn't like that Punisher
No,
with John Travolta?
no. I would sooner watch the Dolph Lundgren one. But
Damn.
I really liked this show. Like, it's brutal as fuck. It is, I think, fairly political where veterans are concerned. It dips its toes a little bit into gun control, but not like. It's
What could
say it.
Punisher have to say about gun control?
Well, and
He
mostly
would
the
say gun control means hitting your target.
yeah,
Yeah.
mostly the show
Two
says
hands.
gun control is meaningless for the most part, but it doesn't really like dig into that hardcore. You just have a kind of a senator who's preaching it, who, you know, the senator's you know, all politicians are evil kind of thing, which is, you know.
In comics, yeah, they are.
But man, I'm sorry. I thought this show was fucking awesome. It had me glued.
Sure it is. John Berthal's pretty underrated.
Well, and he did a really good job, but goddamn if he wasn't doing a fucking Sylvester Stallone impersonation every single gunfight he got into.
Stallone impersonation.
Oh man, every time he yells in that show, I'm thinking of Stallone, like he's got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like he doesn't. No, he does move his mouth to the side, kind of like that, like he's had he's had a heart attack and half his face doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Stroke, you mean?
Honestly, this show's a little bit Rambo First Blood. Like, he's not fighting the local police necessarily, but to me it had a kind of Rambo First Blood kind of feel to parts of it.
There was a lot of, but man, his regular speaking voice, oof. If I had that, I'd never need to work again. I could just talk my way into anything. There was one thing that I had a real beat. What's his assistant's name? Chip? Micro. I thought that he was kind of like sort of shoehorned in a little bit, but for the most part, he was a really good addition. The one thing I took exception to with him is that like he's for a stretch in probably like the 4th and 5th episode, they decided to start working together or something, and he gets this drone with a camera on it. And he's flying it around, you know, the neighborhoods or battlefields or wherever to help Frank get out of stuff and radioing him directions. Like, you know, oh, you're trying to sneak into this place. Hey, hold up. There's a guy coming, whatever. I feel like they sort of glossed over how fucking loud drones are. Like, this thing's like 40 feet up, and he's all stealthy, like, you know, just, you know, zooming in on guys and just like, no, stop it. Like, you would be able to hear this thing if it was 4 times higher than what it is.
Jake, haven't you seen a movie, Drones Don't Make Noise? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I kind of wished he had some devices or something on his drones to kind of help out. My main problem with Micro, and I will try not to spoil too much, but let's just say Micro has a family that thinks he's dead, right? That's his setup. And Frank makes friends with his family. I really thought they were setting him up to be a cuck, like a literal cuck, like I'm really glad they didn't, but man, I feel like there's some draft in that script where they did, and I'm really uncomfortable with that.
Well, especially because he had cameras all over the house.
Yeah,
that would have been.
That's what I'm saying. Like I felt like that might have been.
Too much.
Yeah, they do get a little sort of wacky, almost not Curb Your Enthusiasm, but like almost sort of just like, well, these are some really funny situations. We can put Frank Castle in now, or Pete Castiglione,
Yeah.
or whatever name he's going by at the beginning of that show. You haven't mentioned anything about Madani.
Madani, who's which one's that?
The lady who works for Homeland Security.
Oh yeah, she was a really good character. I was surprised. Like when she first showed up, I'm like, oh god, here we go. But she's a really good character. Like I enjoyed her entire contribution to the show. Granted, she was. Okay, truthfully, the last episode, I guess I probably shouldn't say whether I feel like it should ended first or not because I don't remember a huge section of it. And, nope, I'm about to spoil something, so never mind. Let's just say her role in the final episode is dissatisfactory, and I'm not really sure how she got there.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
So, but for the most part in the show, I like her character. I like what she does. I like a lot of the plans she set up. I like that she is kind of a pretty assertive badass. It's a real fucked up kind of the shit they do to her, but she is no woman in a refrigerator. She's just, yeah.
She has an opportunity to do some really cool stuff, and they put her in a lot of good scenes. She's got a satisfying character arc, even if she just kind of start out as an idiot. I mean, that's the whole point of having a character arc. I think she's,
you gotta go somewhere.
One of the best pieces of that show. I don't know. It takes some sort of turns in the middle where I'm like, I guess with a lot of these Marvel things, I expect them to have the flow of a movie. Just, as far as when stuff happens, and they never do, and I can't expect them to, and I shouldn't. But I felt in the back of my mind, I'm like, why are we dragging this piece out? And it's like, well, because they need 3 more episodes for the middle of the show, dickhead. Like the whole stuff out in the woods with the cabin, like, didn't seem necessary.
I thoroughly enjoyed the show. Like I think like all these shows, there's probably some fat you could cut off, but I think this one filled out its 13 episodes better than any of the other Netflix series. I don't think, now that is not to say it's the best Netflix series. I think Daredevil Season 1 and Jessica Jones Season 1 still are in that arena. But
because your villain still sucks in this one.
I don't know. I thought, okay, the penultimate villain was good. The ultimate villain, he was lame, but I mean,
and even the Captain Super Handsome Beardy,
right, the penultimate.
He doesn't. I mean, he was fine, but he wasn't great. They haven't gotten a D'Onofrio Kingpin yet. They haven't gotten a Purple Man played by the doctor whose name I should know, not Matt Smith.
Yeah, it's not coming to me right now.
Damn it. They haven't gotten back to that level of good villain. And really, it's because they are getting pretty far down in their B tier for list of characters. So I don't know.
Well, I thought the fucking crazy kid was a good villain.
He was okay.
But he was less a villain and more of kind of a force of reality. But I thought that was a good really good storyline to have in there. And that whole storyline, I think, buys a lot of points with me. I have never been so fucking pissed at a TV character in a very long time. There's a scene with that kid where I literally just it was like 1 a.m. or something like that. Susie's sleeping upstairs, and I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? I can't remember. I was so pissed at that kid.
There was that one episode that he was involved with where they sort of played the whole thing as a flashback that I wasn't a huge fan of the structuring of, But yeah, the rest of his storyline itself was pretty good.
I think they dropped the ball. Like, I get what they were going for, and I kind of appreciate it for what it was, but I feel like they could have set that up to be 20 minutes of an episode or 15 minutes of an episode and just given us a normal episode other than that, you know, and gotten the same point across. But anyway.
Man, I forgot about all that crazy stuff in the stairwell with the fire hose and the... Man, wow.
Yeah.
Man, that show had some good beats.
It's really some good shoot. It is fucking brutal as fuck. Like, this is rated R for fucking dudes dying and getting their fucking eyes poked out, you know? Like,
they kill a lot of people. Frank Castle gets real fucked up. Like, he should be dead like 4 times over.
Yep.
Over the course of the series.
Almost like Die Hard before it became crazy.
Yeah.
Like, where they just beat the shit out of John McClane.
Like, his feet are probably in better shape. But aside from that, like, he gets like triple McClaned.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He get fucked up, dude.
Yeah, and they never explained either how Micro survived. So, either of the instances where he was
yes, they do. They explain both of them, actually.
I don't remember. It must have just been a vocal explanation because I don't. Oh wait, well, okay. The
first one he says. The second one.
The first one,
vision.
His explanation was not good enough for me.
No, it was not.
He still had a scar from that shit. So, like, explain, motherfucker. Like, the second one, I can deal with it a little bit more. I'm a Westworld fan. I'm used to gunshots being... Oh, no, it's a fake gun. Oh, shit. Spoiler. Sorry.
Well, that wasn't what they did anyway. And anyway, it's fine. Were you ready to move on here?
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay. So this morning I watched something on Netflix called Train to Busan. That's Busan. It is a South Korean zombie movie. I don't know that I can, in good conscience, 100% fully recommend it to anyone who likes the genre. It's got some pretty bad lines and some pretty bad acting, and I don't know how much of that is just culturally, like, different stuff. They find different stuff funny in Asia sometimes.
Did you watch it dub or subtitle?
It was subtitled.
Okay, that helps.
It's a zombie movie that takes place on a train. There's this guy who's a fund manager who he's divorced. His mom is helping him take care of his daughter. His daughter wants to go see her mom in another city, so he's taking her on the train to go see her. It's going to be like an hour-and-a-half trip there and back. So he'll be back by lunch, I think is what they said. And of course, the zombie outbreak happens and shit hits the fan. I liked it, and I'm glad I watched. I don't know that I never need to see it again. But I liked it. It was kind of cool to see because when you watch as many of these fucking things as I do, they all sort of become the same thing. A zombie movie is basically a zombie movie, and no one's really done anything super creative with the genre in 10 years probably. And so they had a couple of things here that I thought were kind of clever. It was a cool insight into just what it's like in South Korea. The way the trains are set up, and just them walking around train stations and running around train stations and stuff. That was this really fucked up thing towards the end.
It sounds like you enjoyed it more as a travel doc.
Almost. It was actually, for most of the movie, I was really surprised that it probably could have got a PG rating almost, because there's no guns.
What kind of zombie movie can get a PG rating?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But there wasn't a lot of blood. There weren't any guns. People weren't running around with knives and axes and shit. It was just people pushing zombies away from them or whatever. So, it gets a little gorier as you get to the end. So eventually that fell away. But there is this one fucked up part where, so they get to a train station, they figure out that that's not going to be a workable situation. So they're trying to escape on another train, and a zombie gets hold of a handle on the back of the train, and this train is then dragging the zombie. You've seen it 100 times in westerns where dudes are getting dragged by a horse or whatever. And it was fine, but it was a little goofy. But it was all right, zombie movie. Well, then a bunch of other zombies catch up to that one, and so like they start grabbing onto each other. So now you have this train, like not a train, just the locomotive, pulling like 200, 300 zombies that are all just grabbed onto each other. It's just dragging them down the tracks, and just visually it looked very cool. Yeah, it's a zombie movie and does not end the way. Those don't have happy endings, so don't be expecting one here. But that was Train to Busan.
Okay.
So I'll be quick on this one, but I just randomly started a series on Amazon that turned out to be only 6 episodes long that I really enjoy, and it's called Lore. It is based on a podcast. Evidently, there's 80 some odd episodes or something of the podcast. But the basic premise is this guy makes kind of this almost documentary kind of like those cop documentaries where they talk about murders. Well, this is like that, except with kind of weird folklore and things. So they have like an episode on creepy dolls, for instance, where they kind of talk about how they're made or this or that, and then they'll have a live reenactment of actual
Of a doll just sitting there looking creepy.
Well, it's yeah, but like the episode is just like creepy shit happens around it, right? Like so they take all the
It's just
tales
footage of a
they've
doll.
heard of this thing and kind of take you through it, and then show you the museum where you can go actually see that doll nowadays, kind of thing. Like
It's like what are those Slow, the Norwegian series where the one is like 12 hours of a log burning, and another one's like them making like sweaters all night. It's just like 7 hours of the camera just staring at this doll doing nothing.
no,
But it says
no, it is
it's
not.
footage of a doll, but it says reenactment down at the bottom.
Yeah, like this is not the original doll. We had to pay this doll to come in and play this role.
This doll came at a price.
Dolls are fucking creepy, man.
This doll's union, man. You had to pay him.
But that was just one episode. Like they had an episode on like werewolves and vampires, and they had an episode on lobotomies, and they kind of give you a history of it and kind of an idea of the time and
So
kind
it's sort of like true crime sort of
yeah.
thing, or is it a fictional?
I've never seen true crime. No, it's all true stuff.
Well, true crime's not a series. It's more like a genre, like
Oh.
First 48 or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's very much like you'll hear a narrator come on and they'll show you some different graphics. They'll give you a background. Sometimes they'll give you like a modern day or past day blurb, and then they'll move into their kind of acting portion. And they'll take you through a story that is based on a true story, and then afterwards they'll kind of tell you the results of that story. And what it has proven to me is I am 1,000% glad I am alive now and not
100 years ago.
back then. Like especially the Michael McCrary one.
Now, when you say 1,000% that you're glad to be alive now, do you want to think about that and rephrase any of that?
No, absolutely not.
Look, I don't look. I would rather be in the first circle of hell than the ninth circle of hell. Like,
Okay.
go watch. Like this show's 6 episodes. Each episode I think is an hour or something like that. But it's on Amazon Prime. It's real good. Like the first episode is probably I think the least interesting, but it's still kind of interesting. Like you could probably skip the first episode if you wanted and come back to it once you're sold on the series. But like I don't know, it's a lot of cool did you know things, and it's a lot of like why did people ever believe this? I am so glad we have science now and a method, so you motherfuckers won't think I'm a fairy and burn me alive or something, like. And okay, I realize just saying that out of nowhere is weird. Okay, so like Irish believed in fairies and that they were bad people, so like that is the intent I meant it in.
So I started watching this probably a little bit before Halloween, and it did not grab me at all. It might be because I need to skip that first episode.
Yeah,
it was something about people getting buried alive, and it was just really dry and.
Yeah,
boring.
the first episode, like the ending of the first episode, I found kind of interesting, but it is by far the most boring. Like I think The second episode actually might be the lobotomy episode, which I thought was kind of unsettling. Because you have live reenactment. Like, it's not a gory, it's not a gory series. It's generally just kind of implied things, but they imply it well enough where you're just like, I'm really, you're putting the equivalent of an ice pick through between someone's eye, and they're fucking, ugh.
Yep, they did that a whole bunch. It was not good.
Yeah.
What's the equivalent of an ice pick?
This is it's pronounced the same, but it's spelled differently. It's EYES pick. It's an ice pick.
Okay.
That's pretty good. They actually have a real clinical name for the lobotomy thing, but I don't remember what it is. They'll tell you in the show. So
the brain sticker.
Yeah, that show is unsettling in a lot of ways. But at the same time, this is also, for me, this is a show I turn on and do other shit during. Like, it's cool info dump in the background kind of thing, you know. So that also might color my view a bit. But
it sounds like the show would make a really good podcast.
I know. Like, they probably should think about doing a podcast. Oh, wait, they did. I need to check out the podcast. Susie's been addicted to the podcast, is upset because she's about to run out. But
yeah, I think I tried it out as well when I heard they were getting the show on Amazon, and it didn't grab me. So maybe the subject matter is just not for me. But I will skip that first episode and give it one more chance.
Yeah, it's all horror folklore. So I mean, you know, your mileage may vary.
All right, so I got one little last thing here before we go to quote-unquote releases, because there are technically two. So that game I was talking about where I play, sort of, and I had Punisher on in the other window, it's called Dungeons of Dreadmore. It is not by any means new. I have it on Steam. I think that's all it's on. It's spelled DREDMOR, Dungeons of Dreadmore. And it's just a fun little sort of roguelike, turn-based dungeon crawler. I feel like I must have talked about it at some point. So if this is a repeat, I apologize. But I was watching football yesterday, and I dropped probably 6.5 hours into one run and made it to like the third floor of the dungeon. These levels are huge, and it's fun, but not, you know, crazy. Or you have to punch, you know, a bunch of attention into it, you know, min-max. There's very little min-maxing. It's there, but the writing is funny. They're Canadian, and they know they come across as Canadian, so there's some funny Canadian stuff in there. And the skills that you can pick from are generally, there's 3 or 4 that you have to pick for every run. I think you get 7. But there's other fun ones that you can try out, and most of them are bad, but they're fun. You know, like there's an emo skill set. I think they call it emomancy. There's another one where it's socialmancy or something like that. But it's all like the writing and the descriptions on all the skills are all like written in bad Russian accent. Like, you know, words that don't end in ink, end in ink, like thinking, or, you know, believing. So it's funny. It is $5 on Steam. I don't think there's a demo, but go watch a video of it, and you'll know pretty quick if this thing's going to be up your alley. We did not get any kind of, you know, consideration. I'm not advertising this thing. I was literally just playing it, and it's fun. I forgot how much I liked it, so I figured it was worth talking about. So, Randy, how about all these releases?
All of these amazing, amazing releases. Yeah, there's nothing in there. All right. Nope. And, yeah, December 1st, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming out on Switch.
Woo!
Okay.
Yeah, y'all are excited about that, I know.
I got it pre-ordered.
Yeah, and then a bunch of other re-releases apparently. Nothing really coming out on console and PC.
There's fucking nothing.
Yeah, movies, nope.
Oh, it got
Nothing till
deleted off
December.
there. So they're bringing out a new version of Zelda on Thursday.
Oh, but that's a re-release.
Breath of the Wild Exploration Edition. Well, no, it pisses me off because they're releasing it on fucking Thanksgiving. They're like, here is like half of what we put in the collector's edition of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now fight for it on Turkey Day.
There's already a collector's edition of Breath of the Wild. Didn't that come out with the Switch?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like the original collector's edition came with like a map and.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I forget
like
what
the
else.
box set or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now they are re-releasing something similar to that, where it has like the map.
I thought they were already releasing it like Nintendo Classics.
Like a game of the year.
No.
Yeah. Okay. TV, bunch of Christmas shit. Y'all know. Streaming on December 5th. Guardians 2 comes out for streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, they're all their Marvel stuff's going away. When, John? I think it's next year, right? But I don't remember when.
I don't remember. I thought it was 2019.
Netflix is going to lose Always Sunny in 2018 too, I think.
That shit's going away in December, dude.
December?
Yeah, you got like 2 weeks.
I'm
Damn
about
it.
to take a trial on Hulu because Runaways is starting. So, like, Netflix is losing ground with me. Like, they're
Is Netflix going to just end up being Netflix content? Like all of these other providers are going to put everything on their own shit. Like FX, all the cable channels that have their stuff on Netflix they're just going to put it on their own streaming service.
It does seem to be pointing to that, but
like every
straight up,
creator
I don't
have their own streaming service.
I don't have any desire for most of them. So, and I don't mind just joining one for a month and quitting.
But Netflix kicked ass because it conglomerated everything.
I agree.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
a damn
everyone-
shame that.
Everybody wants their own platform.
Yeah, well, that was never going to last forever.
Well,
It was
I know.
never going to happen.
But let's
It's like
be honest
after-
here. Like half of these, like this is going to be a 5-10 year process, but half of these, like CBS All Access, who gives a fuck? Like half of these are either going to be so inexpensive that they just continue to exist anyway, or they're going to fall on their fucking face and then have to license out to Amazon or Netflix or Hulu.
Even if all of these are even if all of these come out and they're like $5 a month, if you get enough of them, eventually you're going to be up to what you'd be paying for a cable bill.
Well, yeah, it's not going to take that many of them to do that. But I mean, why would you look? I get HBO Go now free through my phone bill for some reason, which I really like. But at the same time,
That's a temporary deal.
I do not
We'll go-
think $15 a month is worth it for what HBO is offering. Now that I've seen it, it's not a lot of content. Like,
Not really. I started HBO Go just so I could watch Sopranos because I never had, and that was worth it. $15, $30 if it was
HBO's
2 months. to watch
original
Sopranos.
shows are great.
That's good.
Well, and HBO Now would have been what you subscribed to if you
Right,
went that
that-
route. Like mine was just again free with my phone bill, and I watched Westworld, and like their original content is usually pretty good. But at the same time, if you feel like watching a movie, good luck trying to fucking find something out of there. They have maybe 100 movies on there at most or something. Like it's not that many.
I watched one movie. I think I probably found 5 or 6 that I would have watched, but the only one I actually sat down and watched was X-Men Apocalypse. So that kind of tells you when it was out. Well, it was out a couple of months ago for me because I watched most of the Game of Thrones most recent season, and now I've got like 2 episodes left that I haven't seen. And like you guys are saying, I just like it's gonna be a 1 month and done thing for me. I just like I can't think of a reason to pull the trigger on that $15 to watch 2 episodes of Game of Thrones,
Nah.
and then I'm gonna have nothing else to watch. Like I've already seen, aside from this newest season that I kind of don't care about. I've seen all the Curb Your Enthusiasm. I've seen all the Sopranos. The Wire is really good, but that's on Prime right now.
I would tell you that Flight of the Conchords is worth $15.
Their songs are funny, but the pieces of that show that I've seen have not made me want to watch more of it.
It's the best show ever made. Okay.
Oh, so speaking of intolerable TV fans, The Flash was watching Rick and Morty in his little lab in Justice League. Bruce turns all the lights on, and Rick and Morty's playing on the TV. So.
I do like Rick and Morty, but yeah, they have obnoxious fans. There's that class of nerd that we all know. Like, John, I know you've gone to the gaming shop. Jake, I don't know if you've ever gone to like a gaming shop or whatever, but there's the one guy who just knows all the rules and knows how you should have played this combo and he's so annoying, and that's Rick and
Oh
Morty.
yeah, you're
fan
talking about
in my mind.
board game
Yeah,
geeks.
tabletop gaming type people. But I think there's comic book nerds like that too. They'll always correct you about a particular origin, minutia, this and that. There's always the guy who just wants to correct you. Or, you know what I mean?
Pretty much.
Yes, I am
And
that guy.
he's
Randy, I don't
obnoxious
know
and
if
he
you
knows
noticed.
everything. And I think Rick and Morty fandom is full of that.
I kind of dislike Rick and Morty fandom and Rick and Morty anti-fandom. Like,
I'm not anti-fandom. I love Rick and Morty, but they've got some shitty fans.
yeah, no, I agree. And they got some shitty anti-fans, too. But,
Yeah, like I haven't gone back to the show. I was watching it before season 3 came out. Adult Swim is doing like a 24-hour, and I don't mean just for 24 hours. I mean like an all-day, everyday stream of they were just playing the shows in order over and over again.
Yeah.
And I caught it like I think a big chunk of season 2 and like the first 1 or 2 of season 3.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone back to it because every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, there's another thing the internet fucking ruined. Like, god damn it. And I can't get that out of my head.
Rick and Morty season.
Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say I really liked season 3. Like, it's not.
I was gonna. Yeah.
For me, it was not
say
a laugh out loud season necessarily, but it was really fucking entertaining for me. I think more so than a large chunk of the other seasons. But
Season 3 definitely went hard on some character development that 1 and 2 didn't have. Season 3 was good. It was just as good, but maybe not as funny. Does that make sense? Like, it was entertaining, and it was definitely awesome and worth watching multiple times. You're going to catch stuff every time you rewatch it. But as far as the belly laughs, I think there weren't as many as 1 and 2.
yeah, I think that's entirely true. That episode that took place on the Rick and Morty Citadel place.
Yeah, was that... I haven't seen it, but was one of those storylines, was that a parody of Training Day?
I don't know. I have never seen Training Day.
I think it must have
You guys are a fucking pair.
You can
Shut up. Have you seen Training Day?
No, I've seen
Okay,
either of
well,
these
yeah,
things.
all right.
I'm just like, to me,
Back
that
off.
episode was just clever as fuck. Like, I don't know. There was just something about it that I just genuinely hit me in the right part. Like,
It was
like
really
every
good.
scene was seemingly nostalgic, and I had no idea what it was nostalgic to. And maybe that just makes me a fucking moron on the subject.
Well, they
but-
had brought... that's a callback to Evil Morty, if you'll remember. From, like, I think that must have been season 1.
Oh, well, no. No, I don't remember.
Yeah, okay, crickets on Evil Morty. You've got some homework to do, John.
I've seen
See,
season
this is why
1.
people don't like you people.
Us people. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that you're very quickly falling into that shitty Rick and Morty internet fan camp.
Okay, no, I'm not
I'm
yelling
signing out
at
homework and shit.
McDonald's
Oh,
cash
my
register
gosh.
person for not having sauce, and I'm not telling people that they don't get it.
Jake, with your taste in anything, I don't think you have a right to criticize us.
Rick and
so.
Morty is half fart.
I don't assign homework out to people.
Yeah. If your show is half fart jokes, you're not as smart as you want people to think.
Well, I don't think they
I
want
love a
people to
good
think
fart
they're
joke, but
smart.
it's not
I think they are making fun of smart people in Rick and Morty. I think is what a lot of
I think
people don't
they
get.
are.
But anyway,
I think that those bad fans don't realize that they're the target of a lot of the jokes that Rick and Morty makes.
yeah. But okay, let's wrap this up. So,
Wrap it up.
okay, thanks everyone for
Yes,
watching.
can-
You can.
Wrap it up.
Our next podcast will be December 7th on Thursday at 8 p.m. Then we'll be back to our every other Thursday normal time until we do our end of the year one, and we'll announce that date next podcast.
Yeah, that date will actually take place before that schedule can resume. Because it's less than 2 weeks from then. So
Yeah, but
everything
we'll have
you
a-
just said is not true.
We'll have a podcast before then. I just don't trust our families to not screw us on scheduling somehow. So
I see.
let's just give it a little bit of time and make sure everything shakes out and we don't have to pick a different day. So
7th and the 21st are the next would be the days. Anyway, this is for after the cast.
yeah, and I don't know. December might be funky with Christmas. We'll just have to play it by ear. But for
That's
the
right.
most part, we're
Follow us
supposed to
on
be every other Thursday at 8 p.m.
Central.
Our next Thursday will be the 7th of December. So If you, we would really enjoy it if you guys would email us at carouselpodcast@gmail.com, and we will read and discuss your email on the air. Also join the Discord. I know we plugged that at the beginning, so I won't go heavily into it now. Just a fun romp
We do
in
have
there.
a spot. We do have a spot there where you can send in questions and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Girl Centric from the chat. We like it when you are active in the chat. And Dimebag.
Yeah, did you getting movie advice and shit?
Yeah,
It's been real productive for you tonight.
I want to encourage that sort of stuff.
I like both those people, so I would love it if they'd show up more.
Girl or Gyrl?
It's girl. It might be guy.
That was yeah. It might be
don't know.
Gyrl.
I've never heard her say it in real life, but I do know her in real life. So
I think it's Gyrl centric.
This is great
Dimebag.
podcast.
We did our usual hour and a half.
okay.
We just started early.
You guys, I don't remember what I'm talking about anymore. Okay. Follow us on Twitter at Carousel Podcast. Join the Facebook group. Buy my music at MusiM.bandcamp.com. Randy, where can we find you?
Tulsa? No, you can find me on Twitter at OSU Cobra, and I'm on PSN. It's Gifts of Men, as in gifts, like Christmas gifts of men.
Okay. And we can't find Jake anywhere because he sucks.
I have been scrubbed from the internet.
Purposely.
Except for this cast.
This is
You're welcome.
So, thank you everyone for joining us live, and we'll talk to you next turn.
All
Hey
right.
guys.
Bye-bye.
So, titles.
Yeah, I'll read them.
I didn't write down shit.
As is my
I forgot about titles until 4 minutes
usual.
ago.
Assuming I'm on. Oop, no, go away. Okay. Make sure I'm on the right day. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Hella's Whole Deal. I don't know about that one, Jake.
Meh.
Nobody Wants a Sheldon.
I like that one.
Mathed into Subservience.
I like that one too.
Yep. Triple McClaned. This Doll is Union. As in labor union. Screen Actors Guild. Anyway. That one
This is a SAG-approved doll.
Needs an explanation. Not a good title. And then Science and Its Method.
I think this one is Triple McClaned, or Nobody Wants a Sheldon. But I would then have to find something from Big Bang Theory to put in the picture. And I don't want to do that.
No,
I
you
don't
can
want to give
just
them the searches.
I don't
No,
like Triple
it's,
McClaned at all. I like either Nobody Wants a Sheldon or Mathed into Subservience.
I like Science Method, but I think I'm the only one. I will go with Nobody Wants a Sheldon because it's true.
I don't want Sheldon in our
No, but you don't have to.
picture
Look,
either.
you can just do a search for like Bazinga, and there'll be like
No, no, I'm not
Yeah, you
going
can-
to be a party to any of this.
Maybe
Yeah,
you,
you know
could
the
just
picture?
put a picture of the new Flash on there.
Yeah, okay, I'll figure something out. All right, I don't. That's not my favorite, but I'll take one for the team on this one. Nobody Wants a Sheldon.
I
Okay.
mean, it's true.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us live.
Bye, guys.
Bye.